All right, but let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 15th, 2020. All right, Qs are going to close here down 1.1%, SPY down 2%. Since the beginning of the week, we noticed that the Qs were showing relative strength to the SPY, which was different than what we saw last week. All right, we talked about the hourly uptrend here as we moved up. Our line in the sand was here. If we broke underneath that, we would no longer be bullish. And we haven't done so, so we've remained bullish as we have since this gap up. Okay, we've remained bullish. Hourly uptrend is what you're looking at here. Okay, so as we continue to grind higher, we've remained bullish. Now going into tomorrow, we will be using the low from today. Okay, so we didn't really get a nice pivot in that multiple bars formed the pivot like we did the last couple, right? Multiple bars forming the pivot. Today's pivot caused primarily by the gap down. Okay, which is fine. We will be using today's low, all right? So it's created a little bit different than the last two, all right? But if we break underneath it, we will be neutral. Now, we will be breaking into support here to the left, okay? And so then we'll be neutral. If we get follow through to the downside, right, we'll be looking for the next sell setup as a potential short point. So today's low does need to hold if we are going to continue to move up. Okay, and same picture here on the Qs. Right here, if we break underneath today's low, we are going to be into support here. What we would need to see is follow through to the downside. All right, then we can start talking about any kind of bearish bias. Okay, now the other thing that I'm watching here is the weekly. Okay, and I think the SPY has a little bit of a better picture because of the recent weakness. Okay, as we've got this retracement here, go ahead and remove these. Okay, we've got a retracement here, and we are setting up a weekly sell setup. Okay, series of higher lows. Okay, and then we break underneath the higher low, and that will trigger the sell setup. So that won't happen until next week. So here's what I'm talking about on the SPY, which is even a little bit more bearish looking than the Qs, especially if we close out this week like this, and then we go under and we break underneath it, we will be doing a weekly sell setup. Okay, and especially if we get follow through, if the hourly trend is no longer intact, right? If the hourly trend breaks the uptrend, and then the daily also at that point will have triggered a sell setup, right? We will start to get time frame alignment to the downside. Okay, so that's what we want to be on the lookout for, because I do think, unlike previous earnings season, especially when the market's not moving as much as it is now, names that are reporting and gapping as a result of the earnings up or down are more likely to be on their own page. I think for this earnings season, a lot of it's going to be about the broader sector and also just about the broader market in general. So as a result, if the market, let's say, does turn bearish, I think a lot of the gap ups, even if they're high quality pro gaps and we expect them to go higher, will get sold. Okay, I just think that market is everything right now, especially sectors, right? And so you'll see that all the airlines move together more so than normal, that, you know, the cruise lines and energy, right, are especially tied to each other, and it's a lot harder to find kind of relative strength, relative weakness, and divergence among them, because it's really all about the bigger picture right now, as opposed to trying to pick or be picky and really find where the kind of best companies or the best performing companies, that kind of thing. There are going to be outliers. I know the Amazon, Netflix have been doing pretty well, but I think for the most part, as we get to earnings season, a lot of things are going to have a hard time really moving and separating themselves based on their own merit. Okay, that's what I think. So that's why the market bias, I think, will be especially important for this earnings season. Okay, so just to recap here, going into tomorrow, still bullish until we take out today's low. We take out today's low, we will be neutral, waiting to see if we get follow through, because we will get a bit of a conflict here, right? As if we do move lower, we will be going into support here on the Qs as well. Okay, and then we will look to see how that resolves. We've been in that situation before here. The last time the daily sell setup triggered, right? But then we triggered into this support from the left there, right? And what happened? Resolved higher. Okay, so we'll have to see if any kind of move lower, break of the hourly trend actually gives us follow through. Okay, so that's what we'll be watching for tomorrow. All right, earnings season still just getting started, mostly the banks so far, and that should be the case until really next week. Okay, so hopefully you're looking forward to earnings season, but make sure that we are keeping a close eye on the market, as we should be, right? We shouldn't ever be trading in a vacuum, completely oblivious to what the broader indexes are doing. Okay, all right, hope you did well today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening.